Okay, so it's time to get ready for the winter. You know, you get to go around and do your little checklist around your house. Probably the number one thing on my list every year is the hoses and the hose spigot. First thing is, during the winter, never leave your hose connected because it's just inviting a problem. You're holding water there. So that's the first thing. You disconnect the hose from the hose spigot. Now, if you have a shut off inside of your house like I do here, I go in the garage, I turn the hose off from the inside, and then I open this to drain the water. I haven't winterized this yet, so the water's still on. But if you don't have a shut off inside, then it's good to go get those styrofoam nipples. You put it over the top, takes the heat from the house, stores it next to the spigot, and helps prevent it from freezing. This works in the Northwest. It's probably not going to work in Minnesota where it's 20 below, so keep that in mind. So, a number of things to look at in the winter. One of them is your roof. You know, it gets moss buildup. The main thing is the gutters. You know, they can tend to have quite a bit of debris that builds up around the downspout, like we've got here. You got to clean those out, otherwise you're going to have a problem. If your downspout backs up, it can leave standing water next to your foundation. If you have water next to your foundation, it can end up with water inside of your house. So, you want to be a little careful about that as well. So another good idea is you've got your attic space, and this particular one's above a garage, but it's a good idea to poke your head up, make sure you don't have any water leaks, because as you go through the winter, you know, if you've got a water leak starting, it's just going to get worse. With all the mold issues and those type of things that are on the radar of people, it's so much better to stop it early. And you know, with winter storms, sometimes we'll get branches that'll come down. I had a house recently, I had 6 tree branches that went through the roof, so there were 6 holes in the roof. You know, one was obvious, the other 5 we didn't realize till we went into the attic. So it's a good idea to check every once in a while. So we're here to highlight a quality setup on a gas furnace. This thing's packed into the corner. Everything's all around it. It's your typical garage. You're not supposed to block your air intakes. You really shouldn't have combustibles too close to your furnace. So you want to check those things in the winter. The other thing is they recommend on gas furnaces that you service them every 2 years, and the reason for that, actually some of them recommend that you service it every year. The reason for that is these burners heat up what's called a heat exchanger, and the metal in that heat exchanger is pretty thin. One of the most common problems you have with a furnace is the burner height is too high, it burns too hot, it cracks the heat exchanger, and when you crack a heat exchanger, it puts carbon monoxide in your house, it goes through the blower and blows carbon monoxide through your house, so it's very dangerous. So it's a good idea to get your furnace serviced. The other thing to look at is a lot of furnaces have these electronic air filters, so every year change your filters. This has a couple different spots where you can change filters, but it also includes an electronic air filter. You basically, probably should turn it off before I do this, but basically just take the lid off, this slides out, and then you just put it in your dishwasher. There's an additional filter in here as well that you can change out, and this particular style you can just clean out, or you can buy a new one. When they're metal like this, you just rinse them off, but a lot of them have the cloth ones that you just replace them. You can go to Home Depot or wherever. So one of the other good things to check when you're going around your house is your weather stripping on your doors. So that's your interface between your door where it closes. You see a lot of people put stuff along the bottom to stop the drafts. So really that's what you're after. You're trying to minimize drafts. You're trying to minimize the amount of bugs that can get into your house. Of course, we're at my house, and my dog decided on the 4th of July she didn't like fireworks anymore, so she tried to tear into our house and basically ripped my weather stripping apart. So I need to come in here with a pair of pliers, pull this out. I went to Home Depot and bought a new piece of weather stripping. It just pops right in there. So that'll eliminate the drafts, keep the bugs out. So, you know, around some foundations you'll have exterior drains. In this house we've got a drain here that ties into a drainage system that takes everything away from the house. You just want to make sure that that's clean of debris, ready to flow. Not only you want to make sure there's no leaves over the top, You actually pop the cover. I don't have a screwdriver on me now, but you can pop the cover and dig out the silt and that type of thing from the bottom so that it flows freely. There's nothing worse than a big rainstorm having this clogged and then the water running into your house.